Here, in the ancient embrace of the forest, life unfolds in cycles as old as the trees themselves. This is the story of spring. A mother, a teacher, her heart beating in tandem with the rhythm of the wild. She is not large in stature, but in her quiet eyes rests the immense wisdom of her kind. Her world is her child, and her purpose is clear: to guide, to protect, and, when the time is right, to let go. Today's lesson is one of first steps. On a sun-warmed patch of earth, two moss-covered stones lie a small, momentous distance apart. Spring positions her little one between them. With infinite patience, she nudges, she coaxes, her hands a steadying presence. This is not just about walking. This is about trust. Trust in one's own feet, and trust that Mother is always there. The stones are more than obstacles. They are stepping stones into a wider world. The little one, his limbs still unaccustomed to his own weight, wobbles, perseveres, and finally bridges the gap. Triumph is a small, furry body collapsing into the safe harbor of his mother's embrace. And here, reward is instinctive and sweet. He nuzzles, finds comfort, and nurses, a brief, milky sacrament of reassurance. Strength replenished, the lesson continues. For with spring, love is not merely a shelter, it is the foundation from which to venture forth again. The classroom changes. It is a small clearing, a carpet of young grass underfoot. Spring settles here, her child clinging to her side. She begins to eat, plucking tender shoots with deliberate care. And here, the second, more subtle lesson begins. She does not push her baby away. Instead, she communicates in the silent language of the body. As the infant stirs, seeking the familiar comfort of her breast, Spring turns her torso slightly away. She continues to chew, slowly, methodically, her eyes meeting her child's. It is a gesture full of meaning, a gentle boundary spoken without a sound. This is not the time for milk, little one. This is the time to watch, to learn. The world offers its own nourishment. And the child watches. He sees his mother's hands, the movement of her jaw. The primal call of hunger, so easily answered at the breast, now meets a new challenge. Tentatively, his own tiny hand reaches out. He grasps not at his mother, but at the world she is showing him. A blade of grass, a fallen leaf. His grip is unsure, his coordination a work in progress, and the old habit is strong. Even as his fingers fumble with leaves, his body leans in, his mouth making the soft rooting motions of an infant seeking milk. Spring feels this. With a mother's attuned sense, she acknowledges his struggle. She doesn't scold, she redirects. Gently, she guides his seeking mouth away from her chest and towards the green prize in his own fist. She is not refusing him comfort. She is translating his instinct into a new skill. This is spring's pedagogy, a symphony of subtle gestures, a bitten fruit shared not from mouth to mouth, but placed deliberately onto the ground before him. A purposeful turn of her shoulder when he clings too insistently. A soft, guttural sound that is neither a threat nor a coo, but a signal. Attend. Through this consistent, patient language, Spring is drawing a map of time for her infant. She is helping him distinguish the different territories of his day, the time for close-held comfort and suckling, and the time for independent exploration and learning. She is teaching him to read the clock of his own needs, not just the hunger for milk, but the hunger for competence, for agency. Let us be clear, this weaning is not an abrupt severance. It is a gradual loosening of the tie, a slow introduction of space into intimacy. Spring does not deny her child the breast. That sacred bond remains his sanctuary. What she teaches is rhythm. She offers a profound lesson in the grammar of growth. You cannot and should not be held to my breast forever. There are other lessons written into your bones, waiting to be learned. This gentle push is my love for your future. Life in the canopy is not all gentle lessons, not danger whispers on the wind. A shadow passes overhead, a strange scent carries. In an instant, Spring's calm teaching ends. Her body tenses. With swift, sure movements, she scoops her child to her chest, his limbs automatically wrapping around her. This is the other primal language of motherhood. Now is the time for flight. Now you hold on and trust. They travel swiftly, a blur of fur through the green. When they stop in a new and safer grove, the adrenaline fades. Spring sinks to the grass, her breath slowing. Her child, startled and seeking reassurance, nuzzles to nurse. But the lesson must resume. With a weary but firm gesture, she adjusts his position. She plucks a particularly sweet-smelling shoot and holds it before his nose. The message is clear, even in the aftermath of fear. We are safe. And safety is not just a return to infancy. It is the continuation of your becoming. The path to independence is not a straight line. It is a spiral, with frequent returns to the center. The little one, tired or momentarily frustrated, will often cycle back, his hands pulling at Spring's fur, seeking the effortless nourishment of before. Spring's response is her masterpiece of instruction. She does not simply block him, she demonstrates. She picks up a leaf, brings it to her own mouth, and bites it with exaggerated crispness. She then offers it to him. Her eyes hold his. This gesture is a powerful metaphor. She is saying, "You must learn to work, to engage with the world directly. Do not merely beg for the ready-made treasure, that gold of milk. Learn to find the green gold that surrounds you, that will sustain you for a lifetime." And so, with the consistency that is the bedrock of trust, Spring continues, day by day, gesture by gesture, and slowly the lessons take root. The little monkey begins to mirror his mother's actions. His world expands from the circumference of her arms to the radius of his own curiosity. He learns to sit without toppling. He practices standing, using her body as a steadying tree. He ventures a hand's breadth away, then two, to sniff at a fungus, to bat at a seed pod. He is not truly foraging yet. His choices are often inedible, his understanding vague. This is not about immediate survival, but about the practice of survival. It is a vital interlude between complete dependence and the first true fruits of self-reliance. We see the world through his eyes now. A leaf is not just green, it is a texture, a scent, a potential. He stares at the morsel in his mother's hand, then at the one in his own. They look similar, but one is food and one is just a leaf. The distinction is still hazy, the code not yet fully cracked. His mother's gestures are like shadows on a wall. He sees their shape, feels their importance, but the full object casting the shadow remains just out of his mental grasp. Yet he watches. And in that watching, neural pathways are being forged. This is the profound, natural logic of spring's teaching. The infant's instinct is powerful. To cling, to demand, to suckle. It would be easier, in the short, quiet moment, to yield. But spring understands a deeper imperative. Her love is not measured in constant physical gratification, but in the gradual transfer of capability. She gently denies the constant comfort of the chest and the mouth that would suckle without cease, not to withhold love, but to multiply it. She is planting the seeds of independence so her child may one day climb his own trees, face his own challenges, and live a life that is fully, resiliently his own. For what seems like hours, spring becomes a statue of mindful observation. She settles in a single spot, her body relaxed, but her gaze unwavering. This too is a gift, the gift of time to learn. She creates a safe circle within which her child can experiment, fail, and try again, all under the umbrella of her protective presence. Eventually, fatigue wins. The little explorer, his energy spent, stumbles back to her side. He climbs into her lap, his eyes pleading for the old, easy comfort. He seeks the breast. Spring receives him, her arms encircling him. But then, with a tenderness that belies the firmness of the lesson, she guides his head not to her chest, but to a cluster of berries within her reach. She makes her quiet signal. The meaning is unchanged, but now layered with the day's fatigue. You have done well, but the lesson remains. Your strength comes from walking, from seeking, not just from taking. The language spring speaks requires no words. It is a lexicon of glances, of posture, of intentional action. It is a quiet language, heard most clearly in the spaces between sounds. And now, as the sun begins to lengthen the shadows, this language conveys a new message. The long lesson on the forest floor is complete. Spring stretches, yawns, and looks purposefully up into the spreading branches of their sleeping tree. She gives a soft, distinctive grunt, the all clear, the day is done signal. It is time to ascend, time for rest, for closeness, and for the shared sweet reward of the ripe mangoes waiting in the high crook of the tree. Even independence needs a nest to return to. And this, perhaps, is the most beautiful signal of all. The final gesture of the day is not one of denial, but of integration. It encompasses all that was taught, the seeking, the trying, the failing, the persisting. When spring makes this sign to ascend, she is also saying, "You have worked, you have learned. Now come and share the bounty." The little one, nestled against her in the high canopy, sticky with mango juice, seems to understand. Not the complexities, not the future hardships, but the fundamental grammar. His mother's love is the constant. Her gestures are the compass, and his growing independence is not a journey away from her, but the very fulfillment of her deepest hope for him.